Yo, what is up, guys? MattWic here. We are back in NHL 25 with our realistic rebuild of the Calgary Flames. And if you watched last episode, you know it's not going too well. We are here right before the trade deadline with a record of 23-34-4, a very disappointing season for what we thought was going to be our first playoff season here with the Calgary Flames here in 2027-28. However, we had to make some difficult decisions. I did read a lot of your guys' comments saying that our defense had too many right Ds, not enough physicality on defense, and that it might be time to move on from guys like Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau. I did go ahead and make a couple trades while I was preparing for this episode, so I'll show you guys that, and then I'll show you guys the lines as well. Jonathan Huberdeau, though, he still will not waive his no-move clause, so we are stuck with him and his $10.5 million cap hit for at least this year and next year, and then he does open up to a modified no-trade clause, or modified no-move clause, I should say, and then we can look to move on from him, but it's going to be just for very minimal, more just for cap relief. However, that's not really a big issue right now. I actually had to retain some money. We did end up trading Nazem Kadri. I'll show you guys the trade in a second, but we had to retain $2 million. He does have this year and next year left on that $7 million deal, mostly because we needed to hit the cap floor. I did actually have to go out and sign a free agent too, to a lucrative one-year contract just for the end of this year, just so that we could hit that floor. But I guess good problems to have going forward with our young group. But let me show you guys the trades that I made while offline. So here we are, the moves that were made. Ignore that one at the very bottom. That was made at the beginning of the season, but Poirier there moved out with a 6th round pick to the New York Islanders for Samuel Bolduc and a 3rd. Now, I was a big fan of that move because I am a big fan of Samuel Bolduc in these games. He is a plus-minus beast, and hopefully that's what this team is going to be needing. He is also a defensive defenseman, 6'4", so I was very fond of that deal. He is young too, I believe 28 years of age, has this year and next year under contract. Or I think it's just this year, and then we'll have to re-sign him. But we have the cap space, like I said, so it's not a big deal. So we'll see if he's able to fit the identity of this team. And then you can see above there, trading Nazem Kadri and a 3rd to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for a guy from our 2025 draft class video, Cole Rezhny. And I did think that it was a nice move after looking at our lineup. We had a lot of two-way and power forward centers. Nobody really was a playmaker, so I was really intrigued to see what he's going to be able to do, and he's going to be able to grow in this lineup as well. But let's take a look at the lines because there were some big changes. All right, guys, so these are the new look lines heading into the back half of this season. We'll do the trade deadline, see if we get any additional moves. I really doubt it, though. There's nobody else on this team I want to move on from. And we already have plenty of picks for the next coming 2 drafts. But it is a big, I feel like, downgrade, but it is going to be nice because we have a lot of centers here that can grow. Honzik and Barlow, hopefully I provided them more minutes throughout the lineup. Rezhny, we're going to get him in that second line role just because that's the place where he best fits with Coronado and Tyler Hood, who are both snipers there, so we'll see if one of them or both of them are able to pop off now that they have a playmaking center to help them get that puck in there. We also did put in Joe Aginla. I did see some comments saying that we were kind of wasting him away on the bench, and I did agree. I did give him a couple games here in the NHL to start the year. He didn't really do anything with him. You see, I gave him 6 games, but that was at minimal minutes. We are now going to be playing him on the second power play and on that 3rd line, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with Honzik and Sikora down there. Then we have Peltier and Krause to maybe help Barlow along a little bit more. Defensively, we are looking pretty much the same with the addition of Samuel Bolduc there. Now, one thing like this, I know I saw some comments saying we had too many right Ds and too many offensively minded defensemen. So Harley and Weegar, I feel like they're two-way guys. Got good size on them, 6'4", 6 foot, both overall very good. A little bit older too, so they have more well-rounded stats. Brustowicz was really the guy that I thought was going to be that defensive type defenseman. I mean, if you look at his stats, he's got really good defense, really good awareness, good puck skills. He's a decent skater. Shot leaves something to be desired, but I mean, with most defensive defensemen, that is the case. And those physicality stats are up there. Durability, body checking, aggressiveness, and strength. I really thought he would be the defensive guy in this lineup, but maybe a little bit too young into that role right now, only 6 foot, 190 pounds. Then we have Parek and Scott Ellis with Bolduc down there. Hopefully he can bring our young defensemen along a little bit more. It is a very young D-core, so I'm hoping just the infusion of Bolduc into there at 27 years of age. We got Harley at 26, and Uyghur is the old man at 34. So hopefully Bolduc is able to shore up that second penalty kill and that third line there. But there's also one more piece of business we have to do before we continue simming in this GM mode. And that final piece of business is firing our head coach, Saul Livingston. 2 straight years he has told me this roster can be in the playoffs, and I put that on his head that they aren't there. This roster, like he said, goal and promise is make the playoffs. That was his promise to me as the GM. I built this roster. It's a solid roster. He wasn't able to get it done with the roster. He hasn't won anything here. His record, let's take a quick peek. What's his record since he's been here? It's his overall record, 145, 133, and 29. That might be 2 with another team for a little bit. And you can see offensive style, very aggressive. Maybe it doesn't fit our young core just enough. So Saul Livingston, I do appreciate what you've done for us, but you kind of stole $3.28 million from the organization. So you're gone, buddy. And in replace, we are going to be calling up our AHL coach, actually, just because I can see his stats of what his is. He's done very well with the AHL team, a very young group. He's helped them along nicely, 95, 79, and 22. Not the best record, but we want to give him a shot here. He has helped develop those younger guys, and I like the balanced style, and I like the roll 4 lines, especially with having a young team. I think it's going to be best to get everybody some good minutes. Nothing there scares me away, really, in terms of his coaching, so let's go ahead. We are going to promote to the interim NHL coach, and then in terms of our NHL or AHL coach, we have the perfect guy here with Giordano. So AHL head coach will fill him into that role, and then we'll move this guy up to the associate coach and just have no assistant coach for the rest of the year. But guys, let's get into the trade deadline. I'll just let you know if any moves are made afterwards, and then let's sim to the end of the season, see how everybody does, do a little housekeeping and check the stats, and then we will end the video there. But let me go ahead and get up to that point now. All right, guys, so the trade deadline has come and gone, and I didn't make any moves. Now, you might notice if you saw the lines before, Peltier is still on the team. I just did sub him out for a younger guy, Andrew Basha. He's been having a good year down in the AHL, 79 overall, so I want to get him some minutes. I do have him playing a little bit of power play time as well, but one thing I thought was really interesting when I was re-looking at my lines after the deadline is that we now have some interesting bumps from our line chemistry thanks to our new head coach. Specifically on defense. Now, before when I tried to do this, Bolduc did not fit any pairing besides the third pairing there for our previous coach, but now we get a nice +3 from our top pairing, which is very interesting, and a nice +1, whereas before we got a -3 when we'd move Bolduc and Brustowicz around anywhere. So that's one little thing that is nice to see from our coach. And I did notice people saying we had a lot of right Ds. Now, these guys do have right D and left D, so I just play them pretty much wherever because of that. And I do think, yeah, even if we move Uyghur around, which was an issue before, so I'm going to actually do that. Give Parek some time on that top unit and Uyghur, and then split that top pair up a little bit just for that there. And then see how maybe that works out. We have a little bit more flexibility now thanks to our new coach, which I like, which might get that interim tag removed from him. So let's go throughout the rest of the season. Like I said, 23, 34, and 4 right now. Let's see how we finish the season and see how some of these young guys perform. Wow, wow, wow. Guys, take a look at where we finished in the standings. Now, it does suck because we lose a lot of our space in terms of our draft pick that we had there with the first rounder. But I just needed to see some kind of life out of this team. I was very disappointed in this season. I thought we had a great team. I thought we were going to contend for a playoff spot. And down the stretch, we actually did. 81 points is what we finished at. If you remember, we were bottom of the league when we started that. At the end, after the trade deadline, at that point, we went 15-5-1. So an unreal season down the stretch for the boys. Hopefully we can carry that into next season. And I do think our new head coach did earn having that interim title removed and bringing him into next year to see if we can continue on to this success. But I'm very happy with what I saw down the stretch there. Finished 3 points somehow out of a playoff spot when we were like 12 or 10 points out before. I know the West was a little bit weaker. I mean, teams with 84 points getting in there. is a little bit surprising, but we were hoping to take advantage of that this year and get in with that. But if we would have had this head coach and this lineup at the beginning of the year, who knows what could have happened. But let's take a look at some of our stats. Let's go into the lines and just see how some of our young guys performed and just throughout the team. But guys, I gotta say, this is very, very, very promising heading into next season, especially because we do have a lot of cap space. We can use it to upgrade the lineup however we see fit. Although I like a lot of the guys that we currently have. I don't know where I'd really spend that money. Maybe you guys can help me out with that on positions we should upgrade. But I mean, a lot of these guys are young. I mean, Coronado had himself a decent season. Who knows what would have happened if we started this out with the beginning of how it was. Rejny did struggle a little bit, didn't produce a ton, being on the second power play, playing 15 minutes a night. But he's only going to grow. He's only 21 years of age, just like with Hood as well, who had himself a very solid season, minus the -16, but 30 goals for him, which is a very nice jump. It's 28 from last year, but he was playing a lot more minutes last year, I believe. We had him on a more top line. You see the shooting percentage has gone up. Power play points stayed the same. And yeah, you see he played a little bit less this year, but produced a little bit more in terms of goals and shot less. So that is good to see there. Hopefully his growth continues. He's already got those X factor abilities, which is nice to see. Sakura finished the season a plus. We'd like to see more out of him, but he was playing minimal minutes a lot of the season for fourth line there. And then we did have that head coach that was only rolling 3 lines. So it was really killing some of our development from some of our younger guys. Hanzik, we'll hope to see more out of him next year with some more development. 81 overall right now. Hopefully that goes up. Joe Aginla, solid end of the season. 27 games played, 6 goals. I'll take it. A plus minus a 0. So he was able to get some valuable experience there. Hopefully grows to like an 82, 83. Come next season would be very nice to see. Basha didn't play bad down on that fourth line. 22 years of age, 9 minutes a night. Got 4 points there and a +3. Barlow finishing the season as a plus. I did get him more minutes as well, playing him a little bit more higher up in terms of the penalty killing. And then Lawson Krause, solid season for him, bouncing all over the lineups. But I do believe, I said I had him for 1 year, actually I have him for 3, but no clauses on that. So I wouldn't be too hard to move him if I did want to. So honestly, solid season out of the guys. Let's see top line. Connor Zary there, 20 goals, 49 assists. Sharon Govich, 23, 37 there. And then Owen Tippett with 31 goals and a even plus minus, I guess I should say there. Defensively, I did move Brustwick's back up a little bit just because of what I was seeing. But Thomas Harley, 40 assists. I'll take that. 90 overall. We got him locked up for a long time. Uyghur was a guy that I was kind of looking at during the trade deadline of maybe moving on from. However, just because of our cap situation, wouldn't have made sense having to bring back in contract. That eats into the trade value. I'd rather wait till the draft if we were going to make a move like that, but I think we're going to hold on to him just because he does have all those abilities. He's on kind of a friendly deal in terms of his overall, 6.2 for 4 more years. So let's hold on to him just for 1 more year and see what we can get out of him, because I think he's a nice piece on the top of that lineup, and we don't have any defensemen who are ready to make the jump at this point right now. Brustowicz, we'd like to see more from him offensively, especially with how those stats look. Parikh had a very good first year, 26 assists and a +5, playing 19 minutes a night. Bolduc came over, and he did just what I wanted him to do. 6 points, a +4. Perfect. That's exactly what we need out of him. And Scott Ellis with his first year in the NHL, not terrible. He did play a decent amount of minutes. I did take him off the second power play because he did ruin the chemistry. So that's going to be something to look into going forward. We definitely want to grow around him because he was such a high pick for us. What, the 5th overall in that draft. But I think overall, I think we have a good team to build off of here. Dag and Ivan Kovic there. Solid season from Dag. Really stepped it up towards the end of the year there. 249 goals against average, 294, a little dyslexia there. Goals against average, had 2 shutouts, so that's good to see. He's only going to get better. Ivan Kovic, 4 shutouts for him as well. So split time pretty evenly there. They both, like I said, picked it up towards the end of the season. They're only going to get better, and they're locked in on cheap deals. Scratched, we had, this was the guy I signed just to a big deal, just so that we can get rid of Kadri. They're a little bit easier, Peltier and Huberdeau, who we're stuck with, unfortunately. But he can lead us from the press box if he does decide to keep that no-move clause for next year. We'll see if we can get him to waive it or not. But guys, very promising end of the season, especially after how we started. I mean, the chants were hard for me to get fired. They still might be a little hard because now people are pissed that we improved so much at the end of the year that we don't get that high draft pick anymore. But there are some interesting prospects in this upcoming draft, so I think we're going to be okay. But guys, very promising end to the season. Hopefully we can carry that into next year, just building off of this team. Like I said, lots of cap space to work with, so let's see if we can get that done. But guys, leave your comments down below about what you think we should do during the off season. I'll get the draft posted here tomorrow. Got to get the videos going again. Took a couple days off. Nice little relax, enjoy some football. UFC was amazing, so I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend as well. That's going to be the end of this one. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. We're 8 subscribers away from 3,000, so that'd be a huge goal. So guys, definitely try to hit that. Maybe I'll do something special for you. If you have any requests or anything like that that I could pull off, let me know. But guys, that's the end of this one. Thank you for watching. Peace.